Hey there, it's Carrie Rhodes here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's card making video, I am playing with the large die of the month from Spellbinders for February 2023. This is the Spring Reflection die set. There are 21 pieces in this die set, but several of the dies cut more than one thing. These pieces right here I wanted to show you separately because they kind of create the base of the card. There are two different side pieces that can go inside the A2 size rectangle die, just like this. You can repeat die cut that on the other side. There is also an oval that you can put in the center to cut out the opening around those, and you can interchange these or use them separately. So there's so many possibilities. I'm going to show you a couple different ways to use it today. Here you can see I've cut out those rectangle side pieces from the A2 size panel that the rectangle die cut for me. That left an oval in the center. I can use my oval die and cut this out and just have this gorgeous, beautiful frame. Plus I have this oval I can use on something. You can die cut the oval by itself from an A2 size frame and use that. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to play around with this. I'm going to show you all the die cuts and how they go together and make two cards. So let's go ahead and take a look at the other part of the die I want to point out, which is the sentiment dies. There's 3 of them. You can cut inside this kind of scalloped square, and then it cuts the words into the paper. It doesn't cut them away. It cuts the lines that spell the words. I think it's so cool, and I love the little scalloped edge. Okay, now here are all the dies that cut out the floral pieces. You can see it's a ton. It is a ton of flowers. There's a base piece that you can layer the flowers on top of. I've cut them from 2 different shades of green because I want you to notice they're actually 2 different patterns. Okay, and next I'm going to show you all the flowers I created to make card number 1. So there are solid flowers you're going to cut out and then smaller flowers to layer on top of them that have etched detailing in them. I didn't have 2 shades of cardstock that I really wanted to use, so I'm darkening up the same cardstock with my RV09 marker and then just darkening up the center of the second bloom. So here you can see I have the solid bloom, the largest one, and then I have the largest bloom that has the die cut lines in it, and then I have the center that has it's round and it has all the holes cut from it. I'm layering those 3 pieces to create this one flower. And just by darkening up the same colored cardstock, I've got a variation. Now here's the smaller solid piece and the smaller intricate piece. And there you can see I have 2 of each of those 2 flowers. And then there's a whole nother style of flower that's more like a bloom you're looking at from the side. It also has a solid piece and a piece with cut detail in it that you layer together just like that. Then I'm going to take the oval pieces. I'm using the one with the holes cut from it, and that's going to tuck in between those 2 flowers, and that's going to create the center of the flower. I did layer this with the solid piece that coordinates with it and a darker yellow to give it a nice contrast, but you could use those center pieces layered or separately as well. There is this teeny tiny little die you can put at the bottom to be the base of the flower, and it looks just like that. And here's the smaller version, and that's exactly what it is. Same thing, smaller version. Now there is also a die that cuts out 9 of these very simple flowers. I colored a little bit darker yellow in the center, and then I'm adding the center in white. Now there is a die that cuts out several of these flower centers, I believe the same amount, 9. And now we can add these to our greenery. So the flower is shown here on this greenery piece so that you can line it up. It's really cool that way. And remember, I cut them from 2 different greens at the beginning. Well, this time I'm going to do the same color green because that's what works best for my card. But there's one that holds the other 2 blooms. So again, you can mix and match these. You could use the same greenery piece twice, or you could use one greenery and the other greenery on one card. There's a lot of options with this, and that's what's really fun. But this is the other one. You can see I'm going to use one of those flowers that is the larger round bloom, and then we have the other 2 blooms that are the ones from the side. And there's also little areas where you can add the small simple flower to that. So I'm adding those in and around. You actually need to die cut that simple flower 2 times, that die 2 times to have enough of them to go on 2 of these die cuts, but you won't use all, let's see, that would make 18 flowers. You won't actually use all 18, but you need to die cut it twice. Okay, so I'm going to take that frame that has all the things cut from it. I used the A2 size rectangle die. I die cut the side from the floral rectangle piece, and then I die cut the center of that with the oval, and I'm going to paper piece these together on top of a lighter gray cardstock. This is a very light gray. I think it looks really good with the dark gray die cuts on top. Now, some of these edges of my frame are very thin, and so there are a couple gaps around my die cut floral frame, but I'm just going to ignore that. It's fine. It's a handmade card, right? Okay, so now we layer in our floral pieces. It's so gorgeous, and like you really don't need anything else to dress up these cards. It has everything, like the sentiment. So I thought I would be clever here and run a marker over the letters and re-die cut this, but it didn't come out great. No, I think do an ink pad the first time you run it through and it'll be better. But I decided I'm not going to waste it. I'm going to fix it. So I'm taking the YR14 Copic marker that I used to color the center of my little flowers, and I'm coloring over it so I didn't waste it. I'm resourceful. It looks way better, or it looks like mac and cheese. I can't decide. What do you think? I die cut a second of those cute scalloped squares in white, offset it so it would have something fun behind, and then I'm popping that up. Also, I did a little liquid glue just because it's going down onto an uneven surface and I really wanted it to stick. I die cut that simple flower again from pink and added that to my little sentiment there with a yellow center. Then I thought the flowers needed some white highlights, so I grabbed my Sakura white jelly roll pen in size 8 and went to adding the highlights on all of the things. When you start highlighting things, it is so hard to stop. At least it is for me. Now I'm adding this to my A2 size card base to finish it up, and it's ready to go, ready to be mailed. It's gorgeous. Of course, just like most all Spellbinders dies, I'm never disappointed. All right, let's jump into card number 2. So this card right here, I decided I was going to make a shaker card because you know I love them. And it creates a window into the card. I couldn't not make a shaker. So now I'm using that rectangle side piece that has those oval openings. This is a lot more geometric, and I like that you have the option with geometric or kind of that floral or vine-like frame. That's really cool. So I'll add those to my solid base there. This is tone on tone, gray on gray. And here's the flowers I'm using for this particular card, all glued together. Last time I just did pink and yellow. This time I added in some orange. So really getting springy on this one. And then I did go ahead and cover the back of my panel with a window sheet. And what I like to do is just glue that down. I set a block on it, let it set for a few minutes, and then it's ready to go. So I've got my window, and now I need to go all the way around with some foam tape, making sure the foam tape touches edge to edge so none of my shaker bits can escape. In order to put this together, I put a little roll of tape inside my card base so my card would lay more flat, and then I'm adding some sequins. These are orange. Some of them kind of have a yellowish tint to them when you turn them in the light. And then for the pink, I am bringing in some pink seed beads. Then I remove the backing off of my foam tape, and I am carefully, very carefully, lining that up with my card base. And now I can glue those flowers on top. I just felt like I needed to wait to glue them down until I had the shaker together. And then I'm making sure these ones meet in the middle, where on the other card I had them a little bit more separated. So again, you have lots of choices. And now to dress up the centers of these flowers, instead of adding that layer that is the more detailed center of the flower with the holes poked out, I decided to add some of these teeny tiny eensy beansy little orange sequins, and I think they look so fun on there. It's like repeating what's already in the shaker card on the outside of the card. I added some white highlights to all the things, and then for the center of this card I have Hello Spring, and I'm going to color over that with my Wink of Stella to really draw your eye into the sentiment and give it a little bit of shimmer. And I love that subtle but pretty shimmer on there. So to stick this down, I just used foam squares. I didn't layer it with another die cut this time. Instead, I took my white gel pen and added a teeny tiny white dot to each of those scallops. And I thought that was a really fun addition to the sentiment also. And then I did add a couple squiggly lines. I'm telling you, once I get that gel pen out, I just want to write on everything. So that is the sentiment for this card. And listen to that shaker. Does that make you as happy as it makes me? I love a shaker card. So there are the two cards featuring the large die of the month. And I'm telling you, I am never ever sad that I get the large die of the month. It's always good. There's always so much attention to detail. And there are several other kits of the month from Spellbinders. I'm going to have all of them linked for you below so you can check them out and maybe you'll find one that you like. I'll be sharing more of them in the coming days, the Glimmer Hot Foil Kit of the Month, embossing folders of the month, so stay tuned for some fun videos with those as well. I will see you all again very soon on the next video. Happy stamping! Bye!